This is my third Mother's Day with my son. My son was a month old when I had my first Mother's Day with him. And I don't even remember it. I just remember there being like a homemade card, and I hadn't slept in like 30 days. So it was, or like 15 days or whatever it was. I literally don't even remember. That's so. But last year, let's see. My son was 9.5 months old when I got. Oh yeah, I'm watching Friends right now. I'm always watching Friends. At some point in my life, I'm watching Friends. I don't know why. It's just, I grew up with it. I love it. Makes me feel good. So I always end my day with it. Anyway, so my son was 9.5 months old when I found out I had breast cancer. And I never in a million years imagined that this would happen. I first of all, for some reason in my head, I really thought that if you had a baby, you couldn't get breast cancer, even though that's ridiculous. And if you're pregnant or if you were breastfeeding, it meant that you were never. There are all these things that I thought that just assumed that weren't really true. So when I found out, I was like, "Are you kidding me? Am I being punked? Is this a joke?" And then I remember I had my double mastectomy when I was 10 months old. So I'm sitting there, I can't hold him. He's screaming because he wants me to hold him, and I can't hold him, and I can't pick him up. And I'm sitting there, and like I got these two like drains hanging out of the side of me. I got this piece of clear tape over my chest, like some sort of like, I don't know, whatever. And I could barely bend over, and I'm like, okay, I can't hold my son. This is just torture. And he's screaming, and he wanted to get in my lap, and he kept like pulling at my hair, and it was fine because my husband was great and he held him. But it's hard when you have young kids and you're dealing with breast cancer, especially because even now my son, when he sees me, like if he sees me naked, not that I'm like walking around all the time, but if he sees and he looks and he knows that something is different, he just knows, and he's 2, but it's interesting to have that, but to have young kids and go through this, to think about your mortality, to think about them growing up without you, to think about you doing all that work, carrying them, and them then not being there for it. It's just not cool, Cancer. And on Mother's Day, I especially think about it because it's the day where you think about your mother and you think about my mom. Like, she's older, obviously, and just I couldn't imagine not being there, like her for my son on his, on Mother's Day. So it's one of those things you just gotta say to yourself, I made it through, but wow, what a year. For all these new moms or people that have young kids and that are going through all of this, a couple things that made me feel really good about it. First of all, I was really upset that I couldn't hold my son. It was really upsetting to watch him cry. I know he just wanted to be in my arms and all that. But you know what? I was a rock star. I went through this horrible surgery. I got through it. I was strong. My son one day is going to be like, my mom did that. She is awesome. Happy Mother's Day to my mom. And that's going to be really cool. So I always think about that. I think about, I did good. That makes me feel really good about it. But I also did when I was trying to find out stuff, and we were waiting on the test results. My son was a little baby. And he actually helped me because just sitting with him on the couch, reading, holding him, and just waiting for answers made me feel so much better. And, when I woke up in the morning and I fed my son, and he threw his food at me all over my clothes, it's hard to really, care. You're like, okay, I'm covered in yogurt right now for the 18th time. My son just threw up on me or just spit up on me or decided he didn't really like that banana that particular second, so now I've got it in my hair. It gives you a little distance from the situation, so I'm very grateful for my son. Thank you so much for puking on me those early weeks when we were waiting. Dear little Walter. But yeah, no, but you're reminded of how much you want to be there for them, so that just scares the heck out of you. I mean, there's really nothing It's going to take that away, but just love them. Just remember every second is awesome, and that they don't know that you're going through all this. They just want their mom to hug them and give them chocolate sometimes, sneak it to them. That's what moms do. So dads do too, dad. But yeah, that's what moms do. So. See, this is the best part about being a mom.